Hi everyone, welcome back to Beyond Your Knowledge. Today we're going to be reviewing left ventricular volume and the pressure loop. Okay, before we continue, I would like to share with you Romans 1 verse 16 and 17, and says that, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ." Remember that was Paul writing to the Romans, and today to us. "For it is the power of God to salvation for everyone who believes, for the Jew first, and also for the Greek. For in it the righteousness of God is revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith." Amen. The just shall live by faith. Well, so now we are going to review the loops. Okay, so how we can review this loop? Well, it is easy. Well, I will not say that it's easy until we discuss what it is. So first we're going to do this here. So we have the one axis here, both axes, the x and the y axis, and then we have the left ventricular pressure. So left ventricular pressure, we measure the pressure in millimeter of mercury. Okay, and so we can measure starting, for example, 40 and 40, 80 and 120. Okay, then here we can measure the left ventricular volume. The left ventricular volume, we measure it in milliliters, and will be, for example, 100 here in the middle, 100, and then 150 here. Okay, so let's just do the loop. So how we can do the loop? So well, it is easy. So we're going to start a few points here. So 1 point here, and okay, then the other point here in 150. Then we go here until, okay, and then that point. Okay, so this is the loop. So the point, so we trace the lines. Okay, yeah, so but before I trace the line, let's just start to discuss. So in this we have 4 points, so we're going to put letters. So this is going to be A, B, C, and D. Okay, so let's just start with the letter D. Okay, so your letter D, so your mitral valve, open. So when your mitral valve open, it's going to move. Okay, got it? It's going to move in the direction. Then one time, and it go from D to A, so it is called from D to A. It is called ventricular filling. Ventricular filling. Okay, now we go from A to B, and A represent the mitral valve close. So now we go from A to B. Okay, so we're right to B. So we go in that direction. And from A to B, so what's going on from A to B? So from A to B, we have that your isovolumetric contraction. Isovolumetric contraction. Okay, so then we already saw the feeling. So when mitral valves open, makes sense because it's open, it's going to enter, it's going to feel. But then mitral valve closed, it's going to be contraction, it's going to be isovolumetric. But then after that, when you arrive to your point B, it's going to be the your aortic valve open because you're contracting, so the blood from the left ventricle need to come out. So this is going to be aortic valve is going to open, and now one time open, you come from B to C. So the blood is coming, and then so the blood is coming, and this one is from B to A. B to C, and from B to C is going to be ventricular ejection. Okay, ventricular ejection. And then in C, so if we're open now, what is going to happen is going to close. So that means that your aortic valve is going to close. And then what do you think is going to happen from C to D? Just come here from C. Oops, sorry, it should be more nice. Yeah, from C to D, it is isovolumetric relaxation. Okay, now so basically this is how the loops work. Okay, but there are some of those that we mentioned here. I will just if I put the letter S is equal for systole, and then if I put the letter D is for diastole, and if you see, D is equal for diastole. Okay, so which one do you think is going to be diastole? So diastole is when you are not contracting, so that means that when you are relaxation. So if you are relaxation, you have your isovolumetric relaxation is going to be your ventricular diastole. I'm going to do this in green. Okay, so diastole is going to be green. So ventricular relaxation is going to be ventricular diastole. Okay, and which one do you think is going to be with diastole? The feeling, ventricular feeling. And then systole, when you contract, you're just doing red, so will be your isovolumetric contraction, which is going to be your ventricular systole, and your ventricular ejection, ventricular systole. Got it? So let me just do it here, ventricular, and then this one we're going to do in green. Ventricular diastole. Got it? So yeah, so basically this is the loop, but that is a mnemonic if you want to remember. So for all those, I will do it in orange, the mnemonic here. Yellow is okay. Yeah, so the mnemonic is, for example, I mean, the mnemonic, if it's easy for you, I will do it in the corner, because then here we cannot see after we record, finish recording. Yeah, the mnemonic is mom, M for mitral, mom, Coco. Coco. So because mom, Coco, because first is a mitral valve close, then come the aortic valve open, and this is starting in the letters A, B, C, and D. If you start in A, so where you have mitral valve closed, then you have your aortic valve open, then you have your aortic valve closed, and then you have your mitral valve open. Well, yeah, this is mom, Coco. Okay. So I think that with that, it is important with that principle, because so if we have this loop here, I will show you something pretty fast. Yeah, so we have this loop, we got it here. So we got this loop here, and then you have the loop, and let's just assume that this loop basically doesn't have any of those things, so it's just the loop over there. This is the original one, so you can keep probably this thing here. Okay, you can probably keep that one, and yeah, so this is your loop, this is the original one. And then remember that you have your left ventricular pressure and your left ventricular volume. Okay, so your volume, your left ventricular pressure. So now this is normal, but then if you have a patient, for example, with anything there, let's just say that the patient has more volume. Okay, so the one that we can mention, for example, is if the patient has more volume, or the patient has more pressure, or the patient has another, for example, if there is a increase your pressure and your volume. Well, this is easy, because as we know the normal. What about if I come here and I trace this line here and go up? So this is the pathologic one. So, and then I come here. So what do you think that the patient is going to have here? Well, this patient is going to have your left ventricular pressure is going to be high. Yeah. And what do you think about the volume? Yeah, and then the volume, the left ventricular volume is going to be low. Okay, yeah, this is an example. Or could be, let me just do another example. Could be that the patient has, for example, too much volume and too much so let's just say, so now the most pressure, and then you come here, and yeah, and then you go there. So this is left ventricular pressure is high, left ventricular volume is high as well, and that you can identify just several diseases. For example, if you have left ventricular volume and left ventricular pressure high, so probably could be that the patient is taking could be fluid overload. And yeah, so this is fluid overload. So fluid overload due to congestive heart failure. Or could be renal failure. Okay. Or also could be that the patient has an IV fluid, so infusion of IV fluids. Got it? What this is all about the loop in the heart. So there's so many more diseases, but I think that with this principle we can God willing succeed and understand more. So well, thank you so much for watching, and remember that we can do all things through Christ in us, and remember having joy and peace with Jesus. God bless.